Anyway, I'll try to get through. What I've got is an excerpt of an excerpt. It's a novel, so I'm reading a bit of it. And the last novel I had, I think I read the whole thing at TACW over a period of about 15 years. So I hope I live long enough to do that again.
It seemed like 100 years.
Oh, that again?
Don't look bad for a man 89, do I? Gabriella hid what cards she had processed in the blankets, then locked her back door behind her as she went into her real office to meet Aunt Vera. Vera had called her and asked to speak to her. Vera was 3 years younger than Gabriella's daddy, but she was the successful one. Went off to college, made herself into a real estate broker, and worked with people who dressed in suits. As she pulled the front door open, Gabriella noticed that Vera had a small man with her. He smiled, but his smile was fake and uncool. Vera bent to give Gabriella a fake kiss on the cheek, and Gabriella grew suspicious. Her family didn't kiss. Daddy might pat her shoulder. He might even bend over to hug her, but he was not a kisser. Vera motioned to the short man. "This is Bobby." "Bobby who?" Gabriella asked and stepped closer to him. He was taller than her, but not much more. "Let's just leave it at Bobby for now," the small man said. His shoes looked like women's shoes without the heels. He had on a linen shirt to show off his class. But why? Who would notice class on the south side? Who on the south side would know class if they saw it? Gabriella walked to the head of a small table with chairs around it and noticed that Bobby's eyes darted to her left leg sticking out of her shorts. Gabriella lifted her left leg. "Brand new," she said, and showed off her new prosthetic. Vera frowned at Bobby, stared at the seat of her chair, and then swept a hand across it before she sat down. Bobby took a moment to look at the dust in the chair's seats, then lowered his beige pants into the chair on Gabriella's other side. Vera had chin-length brunette hair with a reddish tint, no doubt costing a lot. Her white blouse revealed a bit of cleavage, and her dark suits skirt had a slit in it that teased you to look at the late 50-ish woman's bare legs. Gabriella wished that she could look more like Aunt Vera, and that she could like her more. "Why do you stay here?" Vera started. "You have a future. You're a bright girl. With your computer skills, you have so much more than this little building. Why don't you let me get you into real estate school?" Aunt Vera had opinions. Gabriella, an adopted black girl with a fake leg, knew she would be even more out of place in a suburb, an upscale apartment or a condo. In the suburbs, the stores, the houses, and all the people looked the same. On the south side, the houses, stores, and people were patchwork, worked on, peculiar, different. "I like it here," Gabriella said. "But you could do more, be more," Vera said. "And we're here to help," Bobby said, and forced a smile that could be a warning. Vera turned quickly and switched her anti-smile to frown at Bobby. "Bobby is an associate, and he has connections, and those connections can benefit us." Bobby, ignoring Vera, stood and began moving from foot to foot to deliver his plea. "You've heard that pot is legal in Colorado, right?" "I heard, but this is Texas," Gabriella said. "That's right, and the federal government doesn't recognize marijuana as being a legal drug, so federally insured banks won't accept money for marijuana. It's all a cash business." Gabriella's mind raced ahead as she thought about her stash in the home part of her building. So credit cards would be a problem too. Bobby frowned. "They can be." "So if a pot buyer has a different kind of credit card," Gabriella said, and Bobby's brow wrinkled. "What Bobby is talking about is storing cash," Vera said. "He's talking about banking. So rather than hiring armed guards and armored cars, or hiding cash, or creating subsidiary companies, or paying interest to non-insured banks, pot sellers and leaders might like for someone just to hold their money," Bobby said. Gabriella straightened up and smiled. "Laundering." "I wouldn't say that," Vera said. "I would," Gabriella said. "That can be really profitable, and a lot of people have dirty money that they want to make clean." "Well, we have something of a plan, and you can help," Bobby said. Gabriella was thinking ahead of them, even squirming in her chair. "And what about unlicensed dealers? I hear that California still has a big unlicensed pot business. What if someone in Colorado grew his own, skipped the seller, sold his own to say friends are out in the street, then that guy would need to put his money somewhere. Yes, but where? Bobby repeated and slapped the back of his right hand into the palm of his left hand. Gabriella's mind was still on the credit cards and the possibilities. Anywhere, Gabriella shouted. Your father has all these old ice houses, and they all have these coolers that can be locked, and he has money coming in and going out. And you are his accountant, Vera jumped in. El Caballeros and Shannon's are now sports bars. Daddy put a lot of money into them. They're his business. He's proud of them. And after the life that he has lived, they comfort him and they add to the community. And your father won't cooperate. He refuses to see the benefits, Vera said. Gabriella felt a sting in her forehead. So this is about my father, not me. You want me to convince him. We need your help for what will surely benefit you, Vera said. Look around you, Gabriella said. This place ain't exactly full. I could do this. Vera rose and bent to get face to face with Gabriella. But this place just isn't the same. Vera's smile was so fake sweet that it dripped. You have your life ahead of you. You have other opportunities. You would make more money working for your father. Bobby interrupted. We'd just like to talk to your father. Gabriella pushed her right leg to the side to look out a storefront window at the charter school that used to be Park Air Drive-In Theater. She had never seen Park Air Drive-In Theater. It was gone before she was born. But Daddy told her about watching movies there. Gabriella chuckled to herself. Over her shoulder, she said, so how do you two fit in? We promote, we arrange, we manage, we sell, Bobby said. Gabriella thought that she could do just as well as they could. Gabriella felt trapped but enlightened. Okay, I understand, she said. I'll have to talk to my father. She made herself smile sweetly as she swirled around to face the two of them. When she was in the 5th grade, Daddy and Mama had sat Gabriella before them after she had been called a nigger at school. The term was in jest, made by another black girl, but it had upset Gabriella. She knew what the term meant, but she had never thought that it applied to her. Daddy and Mama explained why she was theirs, but also liked chocolate brown instead of pale beige. Daddy couldn't help but say how expensive and fulfilling it was to adopt a healthy 6-month-old baby, a black baby. But then Daddy got tongue-tied and just couldn't talk himself into a comforting point. That first 6 months of her life must have been the cause of those first feelings of not really belonging to Mama and Daddy. On the other hand, Gabriella never learned to be a black girl. She remembered watching John Wayne movies with her daddy, riding in his pickup trucks, stroking Mama's blonde hair. As she got older, Daddy sat with her at Audie and Joyce's beauty salon while Mexican ladies tried to deal with the black girl's hair. She had tried cornrows and Bantu curls. Both styles mystified Mama and Daddy. She just didn't like them. So for her gymnastics and her soccer, she decided to go with a short bob, not really black or white. During another talk, when Mama and Daddy tried to help her figure out what and who she was, she noted the peculiar smell on Mama's breath. That same smell was on Mama's breath when Mama picked Gabriella up from high school during her freshman year to take her to her gymnastics class. Gabriella should have asked what was wrong, should have stomped her foot and slammed the door and refused to get in the car. She should have said that she would just walk home. It was what she would have done now. But she was thinking about not fully fitting into high school, in her family, in the community around her. So she got in the car. And she sat in the passenger seat, semi-pouting, and put her feet up on the dash. She didn't put on a seatbelt. Mama was clearly upset and didn't say anything. Mama hit the gas and pulled out in front of another Mama, and a couple of blocks later, Mama ran a light. And then Mama was in her lap, and Gabriella's left leg was bent toward her right, and the pain screamed its way up from that angle in her leg. Her right leg was a simple fracture. Firemen and paramedics pulled her and Mama out from the bent metal and blood. Mama made it to the hospital, but never made it out. And Gabriella lay flat in a hospital bed to hear the eulogy for her Mama at the hospital. Gabriella went into a different hospital, then rehab for nearly a year. When she started school the second semester of her sophomore year, after homeschooling and Daddy's doting on her and waiting on her, She was fully different from the other students. She didn't fit with Daddy and Aunt Vera and her grandfather and her grandmother. She was not black or white. She was not a high school student. She was not a part of a community. Her leg just would not heal. The doctors first used a technique discovered in Vietnam. In severe injuries, they left the wound open with padding covering the rebuilt bone. Neither she nor Daddy could stand to look at the wound. When she got stitched up and wheeled around in a wheelchair, her leg transformed into a thick lump with knots on it. She went back to the hospital for an infection, and then the doctor said the bone just was not regrowing. And Daddy came into her hospital room with his baseball hat in his hand, and he pulled his hand over his bald head and then down his face. He would not look at her because he was crying. I got to tell you this, and the doctors will come in and talk to you some more. He hesitated because he could not find the words. She patted the bed, and Daddy sat beside her. They don't know if it will ever heal. Too much bone gone or not healing. I just couldn't hardly listen to them. And Gabriella could not stop herself from crying. She sobbed, Daddy, no. Daddy sucked in. So they say it may never heal, and it could get infections off and on. They said since I am the adult and the guardian, that I could decide for you. Daddy started shaking his head to say that he could not decide. I should have stopped your mama. I should have just put a stop to her problems. I should have phoned a doctor, a shrink maybe. I got no idea why she was so miserable with me, not with you. Gabriella looked at the ugly new scars and that lumpy, rotten leg sticking out from under her gown. Gabriella thought, okay, good riddance to that ugly leg. I can decide, Daddy, she said. She struggled to say, I'd just rather not have it. Just be done with this, as though she had betrayed the leg. And Daddy sighed with regret and relief at what he did not have to do, at the burden his daughter had taken from him. And he said to her, I'll never let anything like this happen to you again the rest of your life. I'll be looking out for you. Gabriella tried to keep a firm chin, but she started to cry, and Daddy's lip grew firm, and he grew into the stubborn, resolute, protective Daddy that he had become. And Gabriella became who she was. Now, with her aunt's deal, with her aunt's money, she might become more.